find that an increase in exposure to slavery decreased Works Progress Administration spending, which is kind of the key threatening program in the US South. So the question is, why did some places get more spending while others did not? So following this literature, I'm going to be using cotton suitability. So the places where it made sense kind of from geographic fundamentals to have more kind of slave-dependent agriculture. Just to kind of visually show you the first stage relationship. So the x-axis is going to be cotton suitability, and the y-axis is the proportion enslaved in 1860. So you can see in general, there's a positive association. So the argument, I think, is Southern planter elites essentially want to maintain a coerced and captive labor force that's largely Black. And so you see this from the results manifesting in terms of high exposure counties to slavery tend to have much less New Deal spending. Rob Mickey in his book makes this point that white Southern elites operated very much like a subnational authoritarian government. And especially it's really about when white planter elites can feasibly control these conditions.
We are going to take this context away from America, sort of countries that imported slaves, and more towards countries that exported slaves. We try and extend Nunn's framework and look at the impact of slavery on long-run human capital. We find that, log of exports scaled by area on the x-axis, and you find a sort of very strong negative correlation. Even after controlling for income, slavery has long-run impacts on literacy. Places that exported more slaves witnessed a deficit in urbanization, and they also had a higher share of agricultural value added. And that sort of chimes in well with some of the literature that talked about the long durée impacts of depopulation, which shows you a negative correlation between education levels and slave exports. But overall, I think what this paper does is suggesting that there is a long-run impact of slavery over and above the role of income, institutions, geography, other sort of factors, at least in the cross-country data. Regions that historically exported more slaves have lower literacy today, and the sub-regional suggests that there is a similarly strong correlation which shows that the effect of education, health is sort of bound together when it comes to slavery.